Ugh.
When life gets real, the mic stays warm. Hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data's silence already, and the joke's online. Hot takes, real talk, keeping it true. From high school halls to podcast cues, live a little, learn a lot. Turn it up, this show is hot. Grab your coffee and let's get into it. No filter, no fluff, just real talk. Let's do it. Ready or not, here we go. It's the time for Murph to start the show.
Last week, we broke open the internal battlefield of imposter syndrome, how to stop feeling like an unqualified fraud and recognize that you are simply navigating a steep learning curve. But in part 2, we are stepping out of our own heads and stepping straight onto the corporate floor. We are talking about corporate visibility as absolute job security. The bottom line is cold and simple. If your manager does not remember your wins, it is your failure.
It is your failure. What do you think about that, Connor? Last week we talked about how we felt as if we're an imposter because we're a fraud, because we don't know what we're doing, but you're learning, you're new. But now the part that I talk about is the corporate floor. How does your boss know what you're up to? How do they know what you've done? And if they don't know, you've done something wrong because you haven't showed them. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But that's going to be so that's why it's not the same episode. It's different. It's going to be a different focus. So I had to put it at the very beginning, make sure people realize that. And also I want to remind you that, you're welcome to Hot Takes with the Murph, man. I didn't even say that. Co-host Connor here.
Hello.
He's here physically, not mentally. He had a long night last night. But I do want to remind you that our opinions and our comments are ours and ours alone. We don't represent anybody. And sometimes we do get into deep conversations and adult language might slip out. So I just want to apologize about that ahead of time. All right. So, but before sorry. Did you hear me?
No.
Okay, good. Well, everyone knows something happened. I didn't fart, I burped. I just want to say, because, yeah. Anyway, before I begin, I have a service announcement I need to make. On Thursday night, I was at an event. I was about to go to work. I updated my computer because I had like 45 minutes. And I said, I'll update it. Right. The BIOS updated and I got locked out because I needed my BitLocker recovery key. And before that night, had you ever heard of that, Connor?
Yeah, but not when you just reset or when you update your computer.
Well, I know there's a recovery key. But I saw BitLocker. I'm like, Bitcoin? Is this crypto? Like, what is this? For someone who's been around since computers started, yes, I'm that old.
So you didn't know what BitLocker was?
Right. I had never heard of that term in my life.
Oh.
So then it says, you need your recovery code. Okay. Go to your Microsoft account. And I was thinking, okay, what if I didn't have a phone or my tablet or anything with me? I wouldn't have been able to get my recovery code, right?
Yeah.
Well, luckily I did have my phone with me. And I went into my Microsoft account. Well, I have different Microsoft accounts. I have one that I've created years ago when I first started with Microsoft, right? And then I have my community college account. I need that one for my Microsoft Office. And then I have a different account that I made when I started this process, right?
Yeah.
And then I made another account for my new business that we just started. Well, on my Microsoft accounts, all of them, you know how you save the passwords? All of them were there except my new one. And when I tried logging that in, I couldn't do it. And then I went to I bothered him. I asked him to go online, tell me what he was doing. We went online. He looked up my recovery key, couldn't find it. I mean,
I found it. It just wasn't the one you were looking for.
Yeah. And I was like, where else am I logged into? I said, my work tablet. And I said, okay, let me go see what's up with that. I went in there and my recovery key was there and I typed it in and ta-da, right? Mm-hmm. So guess what I've done since then to remedy this?
What?
I've gone and taken screenshots of all my recovery keys and put them into my quote unquote private folder online, and I also put it on my phone. I put it in 3 or 4 different places because you never know what you're going to have access to, right? But service reminders, if you have a computer, go into your recovery key, just type in Microsoft recovery key. It gives you a little link there. You go to it and it literally shows you your recovery keys. And if you have different devices that it's all connected on, it's all there. It's really interesting now that I know how it's done, but I thought that was just pretty cool. But I was really, really flustered Thursday night because it took me about, out of the 45 minutes I had, it took me about 40 minutes to update it and then try to unlock it.
Dang.
And I got started right on time.
That's nice. That's cool.
It is. And then, of course, we did our trivia night, first night trivia. It went okay. Could have been a little better. I had the program on my laptop and I tried controlling it from my tablet. And I could, but then I couldn't. It was really weird. Like it would work and then it stopped working. It would, like in between rounds, I'd start one round. I'd be like, we ready to go? Yeah. All right, start it. And then another screen would pop up and you're like, what? And I because I'm learning the system. Kennedy is my niece and all her friends. Thank you for being so patient with me, you guys. I really appreciated that. It didn't go as I planned. And it just, But I'll tell you what, I have learned and I will make the adaptations that I need. And going back to our episode for today, Imposter Syndrome, I was there and I'm looking at everybody doing the trivia and I'm like, in my head, you probably think I'm an idiot. You probably think I don't know what I'm doing. At the end of the show, I actually sat down and talked to them and asked for feedback. And I said, I promise you guys, I know what I'm doing. I can be funny. And one of the girls goes, oh, we know you can be because we used to go to Rad with her. I said, well, I know that, but I'm saying I feel so bad because it just wasn't my night. And it happens. That reminds me, one of years ago, Billy Washington is this comedian and he was in town and he went to a show. And I went up to him after the show and I bought his CD. And he goes, hey, thanks for buying my CD. Most people are like, well, I already heard your material. How much of your material is on this? He goes, it's pretty much the same show. But if you want to hear it again, that's why people buy it. And back in those days, we could burn our own CDs. So you would make it and you would make a paper copy and you would have a picture of yourself on your CD and you could do that, right? Mm-hmm. And then you had, going off real quick, you had laser engraving onto the DVD. So you could actually have it engraved.
Wow.
All right. Anyway, so he had his CD and I told him, I said, hey, I'm buying your CD. He goes, oh, great. Don't you want to know like what material's on it? I said, probably your show that you normally do week in, week out. He goes, yeah. Well, thanks for buying that. And I said, I'm not buying it because you bombed today. And you made a recovery that I was very impressed with. And he looked at me, he goes, maybe about 5% of my normal routine is what you heard today. It was not hitting here. He says, I've done shows. It was like a Saturday night. I've done Thursday. I've done Friday. No problem. And today everyone's like, screw you. And that's the thing, you have to have the skills to have the job. But in that moment of doubt, right? You're going to be like, oh man, should I be doing this? And I still have a CD. And going back to comedians, my birthday, July 31st, that weekend, Chinaman's going to be in town. And he's Chinaman. And when I met him at Comic-Con, well, not met him. I guess I met him. I've known him, but when I saw him again at Comic-Con, I'm like, yo, Chinaman, what's up? And he's like, hey, you must be one of my older fans. And they didn't mean like age. He meant like long time ago. I'm like, bro, I've been your fan since you've come out. I said, you do voices on Dragon Ball Z, and you have the kid walk is this thing, and very, very inappropriate cancel culture stuff today. So when I said, hey, Chinaman, he goes, you must be one of my old fans because you actually call me Chinaman. You don't go, hey, China man. You call me a Chinaman. I said, yeah. Kid walk. That was his thing. Kid Rock. I can smell what the wok is cooking. He had all these. Yeah. And so we're gonna see him. We're gonna go probably hang out with him that weekend. I can't wait.
You excited?
Yeah, dude. For one, this is the first time I'm actually going to a real professional comedy show, right?
I guess, yeah.
Because we went to Vegas. And you saw their shows, and there was some comedy, but it was mostly magician stuff, right? Then some of the stuff was funny, but you didn't see a comedy show. Someone up there on stage doing comedy, what I've done.
Well, I mean, I know what you mean by comedy show,
but you haven't seen one. So,
well, just on Netflix.
Well, yeah,
TikTok.
Okay. In person's different.
Okay, then.
And especially we're gonna be in the VIP booth.
And I don't know. I was going also. I didn't know.
I told you I wanted to spend my birthday with you. That's all I asked for from you. I know I'm not getting a present.
Well, I didn't know, but okay.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with today's youth. They just don't listen. Like yesterday about the printer.
You made it seem like something different.
And then when I told you the story, you're like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, you just didn't realize what I was talking about. Like you remembered the details,
yeah,
but you didn't put the whole story together.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing this week. Getting new printers. I bought 2 new printers. Good printers too.
Really good printers.
Huh. I'm sorry. I should have waited for a break to chew my ice. I have anemia, and when you have anemia, one of the symptoms that you can be aware of is if you chew ice or if you have craving for ice, and that is something that you can go get checked for if you have anemia and you've been craving a lot of ice. And I've been craving a lot of ice. I'm already in the process of getting checked, and my iron's getting better, but whatever. I bought this printer, and I was looking for a black and white laser printer. I found one, and I used Gemini to go ask it questions, bounce it off ideas, and I said, "Hey, what do you think of this printer?" And it says, "Oh, that's a high capacity corporate printer, like 50,000 pages a month." I'm like, I don't need that. Connor pointed out something, the tray at the bottom, because it's a very tall printer. You're like, that tray at the bottom, what is that? I said, that's the paper tray. It holds 650 pages. A ream, the regular stacks of paper, or 100.
Wow.
I'm sorry, 500. I just bought 5 reams of paper. That big box that you see on the floor is 5 reams of paper, and it can fit inside of this printer and still have room for 1.5 more.
Dang.
So when it's a corporate printer, it means like corporate, like 50,000 pages a month.
Wow.
I'm printing 10 at a time. You know what I mean?
10,000? No, just 10.
10 hundreds maybe. No. And anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is because I bought it for $123. When I went on to Gemini, I said, hey, I could take a screenshot. What do you think of this? It gives me the review, tells me everything about the computer. And it says, and right now it's $123 off. So that's a pretty good deal. And I have a conversation with Gemini. I know they're not real. I know the AIs are not real, but I talk about them as if they are. I asked Gemini, I told Gemini, read the picture again. It is not 123 off. It's 449 off, and it's for sale for 123. And Gemini says, I love this. Gemini says, that's a typo. You might want to get it before someone changes it. So go to Office Depot, type in a Canon printer, black and white, $123 right now. You can't. I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for a laser printer, you can't beat it, and it comes with a full ink cartridge. So that it's not a starter cartridge because like the other laser printer about the color one, I already used the color because I did full color prints, which I need to fix for next. I've learned the lesson. You learn from your experiences. But this one comes with a full ink cartridge that can print 5,000 black and white papers on average. And give me the script. A regular page of script, right? Just a regular page, 5,000 of them. Right now, I printed
about like 7 or 5.
10, because front and back.
No, yeah.
So 10 a week on script, maybe another 50 during the week. Yeah, I have ink forever.
For a little bit.
And what's funny, hold on. What's funny is the printer I bought, the cartridge is $165 for ink. Toner, actually, in laser printers. And that toner cartridge is more expensive than the printer itself. It'd be cheaper to go buy a new printer if they sell it for $123 next time. Isn't that crazy?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, right? Like the toner is actually more expensive than the actual printer that I paid for. Now, if I had paid $550 for the printer, then I can see that, right? But the fact that it'd be cheaper right now to buy a new printer than buy a cartridge. What's even more funny about that is imagine all the people who already own one of these that are buying printer cartridges right now. And they probably have had this printer for, 5 years. They can actually just go buy a new one. And it'd be cheaper than the cartridge. I just think it's little things like that are just funny.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I think it's time that we ignite the fuse on today's show. What do you think, Connor?
I think so too.
All right. So after 17 minutes of bullshit, here's the show.
Stop hiding in the shadows of silent competence. It is actively hurting your promotion trajectory. Last week, we unpacked the internal psychological frameworks of self-doubt. Today, we are weaponizing the definitive corporate playbook on internalizing your true worth and forcing your organization to witness your visible impact. The fuse is lit. Murph man, take the mic.
Where should I take it? Exactly, you guys. Last week, we talked about the internal psychological stressors that we had and whatnot. And this week, I want to talk about the corporate strategies, the playbook on how to get them to notice you and have them witness and be a visible impact. Because that's what you want to do, right? You want to be able to go to work and have people say, yeah, he knows what he's doing, right?
Yes.
Last night, I went to an event. I'm trying to get a job as a host, an MC of events. That's part of my business that I'm starting. And I think it's funny because as I'm introducing myself to people. I was at an event last night and the guy goes, "Do you speak Spanish?" And I said, "Yes, I speak Spanish." He goes, "Because, most of our shows are done in Spanish." And I said, "Yeah, I know that." And I said, "I know I don't look it, but I speak Spanish fluently." And he was just looking at me like, "Really?" And he didn't test me, but I spoke Spanish. And I said, "See, I can speak it." And I said, I rehearsed that. Did I do good? Which obviously I was just being funny. And the whole point about being a host or an MC of an event is to be able to carry that crowd. And it's not easy. It's not easy. And doing a comedy for years, well, I haven't done it in years, but I used to do it for years. If the crowd was good, I was good. But if the crowd wasn't good, I had a hard time. I had a very hard time. There was one show I did where I went on for 45 minutes. I I featured, is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a 45-minute show, probably my best show ever. And that was my last night of comedy.
Why?
I got into a fight with the guy I was working with.
Mm.
And I never did it again. It's just weird. I know.
Do you regret it?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, because like everyone that I came up with is touring. And that's what they do for a living.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I can't say that. Most comedians have a day job that's online. Like I have a friend of mine, a comedian. So he's a magician. The guy's good. Gibbs. You guys gotta look up Gibbs. Gibran the magician. But I love his shows and he's funny and everything. And he, I have a lot of my friends are actually at the Jimmy Kimmel's comic strip over in Vegas and stuff. So it's like I would have been there, and because I know I'm good enough to be as funny as they were. If they can make it, I could have made it. But I didn't have a job that was online. I had to work, and I couldn't like just take off every Thursday and Friday to be somewhere and do shows. Like fly out Wednesday night, do Thursday night, Friday night, or fly out Thursday half day, and then come back on Sunday after the show.
Yeah,
I didn't have that kind of job. So I do regret it, but the Murph man cometh. We're coming back. And we're gonna be doing some live shows here in El Paso with open mics and all of that.
You excited for those events?
I am very excited. With what I'm doing for my business, it's a lot. Like when I went to a small business agency a month ago, I had these plans of all these different companies and Series LLC and all these new terminology that I learned, right? And the guy looked at me like, this is just too much. Like he really couldn't wrap his brain around what I was trying to do. I went back this week and I said, here's what I got going on. And he goes, that's a lot. I said, but I'm already doing it. I'm just labeling it now. And he's like, you're doing all of this? I'm like, well, obviously not at the same time, but I do a show here, I do a show there, I do a trivia here, I'm already doing it. So I'm just putting a name to it, And we talked for like an hour and a half about the business. And one of the things we talked about was keeping the anonymity of my name, because I don't want to be online and people will find out where I live and everything, right? My name's out there. Everyone knows my name, but where do I live? So I had to hire a company to be my registered agent. He goes, you wasted money there. And I'm like, it's only $35. He goes, oh, most of the times it costs $150. So I started teaching him about different ways that I saved money. And he says, most people who have that corporate veiled name and hidden and whatnot are millionaires, celebrities, like they want to keep anonymous or stay anonymous. And I said, I'm a celebrity. I'm the Murph man. And I showed him my shirt and he goes, yeah, it takes people time to start a show. You already have the persona. So he's like, yeah, so I started my business. It's official this week.
Mm-hmm.
Wish me luck.
Yes. Wish you all the luck.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. Do you have any questions about imposter syndrome, Connor?
Not that I could think of for now.
Because you don't know what it is. No, you know what it is. We talked about it last week, but I'll tell you what, let's get to the burning question. Let's find out what everyone is thinking.
Let's settle this once and for all. Luck or true competence? Today's burning question centers on how professionals struggle to accept their value. What is the primary difference between externalizing praise and experiencing true internalized success? A. Externalizing praise leads to promotions, while internalizing success results in horizontal career pivots. B. Externalizing praise relies on your manager's baseline awareness, while internalizing success requires public updates. C. Externalizing praise attributes performance to luck or timing, while internalized success treats accomplishments as hard evidence of true competence. D. Externalizing praise occurs during peer evaluations, while internalizing success is restricted to senior leadership. The choices are on the table. Murph man, what's the flashpoint?
Okay. So we have externalizing and internalizing. Let's talk about those real quick.
Mm-hmm.
External or extrinsic motivation is something that happens from the outside. Internal or intrinsic motivation is what happens on the inside of you. Here's an example: a speeding situation. If you don't speed, what would be an external reason for that?
A speed limit?
Well, there's a speed limit, but what's a external reason to not speed?
I don't know. What
A ticket, cops
Oh,
pulling you over,
okay.
getting into an accident, things of that nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's an internal reason for not speeding?
Safety.
Safety. What else? I don't want to get into an accident. I don't want to cause an accident. I don't want to get the ticket. I can. What did I tell you about a ticket?
What?
In Texas, if you get one speeding ticket a year, you can get dismissed. It still costs you money, but it doesn't go on your record, right?
Yeah.
Once you get over that year of having to wait, you're going to be okay, you know? When did you get your ticket? No, you started driving, you got a ticket.
November.
So that's, but your year is, when did you get it done? December, February?
A little bit after December.
A little bit after December. So you have until December. So technically January of next year. So you still got 5 more months.
Yeah.
So just be careful. But externalizing and internalizing. So externalizing praise leads to promotions, while internalizing success results in horizontal career pivots. A horizontal career pivot is moving sideways, but you're not really moving up the ladder. And that's where I've always been. I've been doing this. I've never done this because my job was not a career job. Is it externalizing praise relies on your manager's baseline awareness, with internalizing success requiring public updates? Is it externalizing praise attributed to performance or luck or timing, while internalized success treats accomplishments as hard evidence of true competence? Or is it externalizing praise occurring during poor evaluations, while internalizing success and restricted to our internships? There's a lot to read. That's why I had to read it off the screen.
During peer evaluations and restricted for senior leadership.
Where are you reading that?
The last one.
Oh,
The one you just read.
okay. Is that your answer?
No.
Oh,
but you just said
that's
it
what threw
wrong.
me off.
You just
I'm
said it
like-
wrong. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Read the last one again, Connor. I'm sorry.
Or the last one, D. Externalizing praise occurs during peer evaluations, while internalizing success is restricted to senior leadership
I saw internship
and poor.
and poor, not peer. Well, it doesn't matter. That's not the answer.
The answer is C.
Externalizing praise attributes performance to luck or timing. Is there some luck and timing in doing good at work?
There's timing. I don't know about luck.
There is, right? It does happen. You can get that moment and it just happens that way.
Yeah.
But it's really based on your performance, you guys. And that's what we're trying to talk about today. Okay. So let's get to today's hot take so we can really get into the meat of what we're talking about today.
When I tell you this corporate secret, you're going to be angry. Today's hot take is corporate visibility is absolute job security, and hiding in silent competence is a fast track to stagnation. If your direct manager has to guess your weekly value, you have already failed the baseline test of career mastery. The take is burning. Murph, man, let's hear the reaction.
What?
I don't like the way the voices do it.
The voices in your head?
Okay.
You don't like that? It's emotional. It's real.
No.
It's not just,
you know how I hate
today's hot take. Corporate visibility is absolute. You know, it has emotions in it.
I hate AI, and I hate it when you try adding emotions to it.
Just accept it, bro.
I already did a long time ago.
So let's look at this, okay? How does this play to us at work? Well, if you are at work and you're doing your job and you're competent, you're doing your job.
Yeah.
But you're not doing anything to make you more aware of stuff. You're not doing anything that makes you look better than the other employees. You're just doing your job. Okay. That's the bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, when I was a cart boy at Kmart, we had to actually push the carts. And during Christmas, there would be days where I would go out into the parking lot and there were no carts to bring in.
Like at all?
At all. Like, well, what happens, you know how you put a cart in the cart corral? We didn't have cart corrals back then. So people would just throw them everywhere. But people would pull up, grab a cart and walk in because they knew there was no carts outside or anything. If you go to Sam's, you have all those outside. During Christmas, go before Christmas and look at all before Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Look at all the carts that are outside of Sam's. And then go on Black Friday and there'll be no carts there because they're all in the store. And that's when you look at the amount of carts, you've seen the stack of carts outside Sam's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot. Imagine all of those are gone.
Yeesh.
So, that's one of the things with holiday stress, finding a cart at the store.
There's like 200, maybe. Yeah.
Like 3,000?
There's not 3,000 at Sam's.
I don't know. I'd say about 1,000 minimum.
Really?
Yeah. Because there's 3 rows and yeah.
It's like 50 each.
Okay. Today when we go out, I'm going to show you. And you'll just, when you see it, you're going to be like the sheer volume of carts that people have to do.
Okay.
Anyway. Again, we go back to imposter syndrome. Psychological warfare, right? I had no carts to bring in. And my boss says, just stay outside and just keep walking. And when you get one, bring it in. That was it. Like, literally, I couldn't do my job. Was I being competent in my job?
No.
Well, yeah, because
No.
I was out there all day. There was just no carts to bring in. He was a good manager, and he realized that all the carts were in the store, and it wasn't me who was failing at my job.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But when I came in, I said, look, there's no I'm 16 years old. Okay. I said, there's no carts outside. Do you want me to do something in the store for a while? And he says, no, I want you to be out there just getting carts. But the fact that I, as a 16-year-old kid, came to him and said, hey, you know there's no carts outside, right? I could have just gone out as a 16-year-old and just chilled out in the parking lot, right? That's what people would probably do.
Yeah.
I came in and said, hey, what can I do in the store to help you? And he goes, separate returns. And every 30 minutes, just go outside. But that visibility is what I'm talking about. I was doing my cart job. I didn't have to do anything different. It was just a basic job, dude, right? I was good at it. I mean, I don't know how you can be bad at it, right? Maybe pushing the carts and crashing into a car.
Not locking them in place and like you push it.
Well, there's no locking back then. They didn't have these ropes to hold the carts. You start pushing and the cart pulls out. You had to run and grab the carts so it wouldn't slide and hit them.
Well done. Yeah.
And then you had to stop it. That was another thing. Like you get the momentum going and you're like, okay, I'm going to go to the front door, and you start going in and someone comes out the entrance. You're like, you know, like, yeah, you're going to get run over by carts. But, you know, so I wasn't bad at my job, but that difference is I jumped in there and said, hey, what else? Right? And that's that visibility I'm talking about. You can be great at your job and not make an impact. And you can also get this. You can be great at your job, make an impact, and people don't realize it until you're gone. And I share the stories with you about everywhere I've gone. I've changed the culture of the business. And when I leave, people end up leaving after me because it's not the same. There's people that bring, I know I wasn't going to remember the word. Invisible skills, Connor.
What?
They bring something intangible, not invisible. I knew that I was going to work it out. Something intangible that you can't put your finger on it, but employees do stuff, right? Maybe it's not, the managers aren't even aware of it, but the other employees aren't aware of it. But there's intangibles that people do that you don't realize that are happening. So if you're a good manager, look at your employees and realize, hey, what are the intangibles the employee is giving you? Because when you do your eval, right? As a manager, they're going to ask you, what do you think you've done this year? Have you done your job? Have you done well? Have you excelled at anything? Have you lacked in anything? And I remember one time I had a boss and I hate him. He didn't like me. And he was just always manipulative. He used his power against me and everything, right? Went into my evaluation and it was blank. He hadn't even bothered doing it, okay? And he goes, I don't know how I should fill this out. You've had some issues this year. And I said, like what? And he started bringing up issues. And I said, that was because of this. That was, and I wasn't blaming people, but I was like, that was not me. And you know that. At the end of the interview, guess what he did? He just put excellent on everything, or satisfactory, whatever it was. I was like, really? Like, you were going to write that the whole time. Why do you have to just make me feel like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those the things people see with that boss, they realize that he wasn't good at what he did. And we got to some point where I actually was ready to beat him up at work. And I went to my boss and I said, I need to leave. I just need to get away. And I said, if you want to send me home, send me home. I said, but I just need to get out of the situation because I am irate right now. I'm ready to beat him up. And she tells me, she says, I know. She says, I saw what happened. I'll talk to him, but right now is not the time. She says, stay in my office until you're calm. And I said, the fact that you just validated what I've been saying just changed my whole perception right now, and I'm good. Because someone else understands what I'm going through.
Yeah.
It's not just me in my head. Someone else saw it, and they're like, yeah, this guy is doing this. So when you do evaluations, you guys, employee or manager, look at the intangibles. Because, yeah, we can all say, did you do your job, yes or no? We all know that. But as an employee, give yourself those intangibles that they may not see. You know, like behind the scenes, I fix issues. Behind the scenes, I support everybody. I'm their ear. When they're having a bad day, they come talk to me and I calm them down. That's why people haven't quit. Like in the job that I had, the retention was higher when I was there because of what I do. And remember that as we go to break. And when we come back from break, we'll talk about those definitions and those terms we need to address here in Laying Down the Coals. But for now, we'll be right back.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
According to the VA's suicide data report, an average of 22 veterans die by suicide every single day. This figure is a sobering reality. and a crisis that demands our immediate attention and compassion. We must recognize and address the fact that every 24 hours, 22 veterans are losing their lives to suicide. The war doesn't always end when our veterans come home. The invisible wounds they carry, wounds that are real and heavy, require continuous support. No veteran should have to carry this burden alone. Many veterans experience stress and disconnection as they navigate life after service. But there is hope, there is help, and you are not alone in this fight. There's a vibrant community ready to support you, offering friendship, understanding, and shared experiences. You served your country, now let us serve you. Don't fight the toughest battle in silence. Your mission now is to reach out. Dial 988, then press 1. Text them at 838255. The Veterans Crisis Line is available 24/7. Every day, we save lives. Your life is invaluable, and your service is honored. Let's work together to make 22-0 again. No veteran should face their struggles alone. Together, we can ensure every veteran finds the support and hope they deserve.
He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog batting said, "This is a man's best friend." Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. But he's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
All right, we are back. Over the break, I was telling Connor more about the history of that situation, and he sort of understood. What year did they win the championship? Or something completely separate, but
I don't know.
just do a fine, control fine for 19. Let's give you the year.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking something else. But we are back. So let's talk about some of these terms we're going to be talking about today in our segment called Laying Down the Coals.
The one thing people who clear the corporate skill gap never talk about. Before we dig in, let's clarify the essential architecture of ownership while laying down the coals. Internalized success. The psychological capability to process external praise, metrics, and achievements as hard proof of individual competence rather than environmental luck. Corporate visibility. The strategic practice of documenting and broadcasting performance data to stakeholders to ensure company-wide awareness of your impact. The weekly win report. A proactive communication protocol where a professional provides an executive summary of completed projects and milestones directly to their manager. Gratitude to data flip. The cognitive behavior technique of treating positive workplace feedback as objective baseline metrics instead of personal sentiment.
All right. Internalized success, the psychological capability of process external praise or metrics as hard proof of competence. Hard proof, right? You can think you're doing a good job, But it doesn't matter until someone says you're doing a good job, right?
Yes.
An imposter might say also, if they only knew that I'm faking it till I make it. Remember that term from last week?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's accept praise is probably the hardest thing for people to do. Corporate visibility, the strategic practice of broadcasting performance data. Numbers drive everything. You know, how, for example, where you used to work, is there anything you can say that you did that has a number on it? I'm thinking of one in particular, but
no.
I was never, you. I was never short or over anytime I ran the register.
No, I was.
I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, but yeah, you're gonna be short or over no matter what. I don't know how, but yeah.
Well, I agree.
If you don't do your job,
I agree.
You think you do it right. You think, nothing would happen, but somehow you lose 10 cents.
10 cents?
I don't know how. You lose 50 cents. I don't know. You go over $1. I don't know how.
Yeah.
You do every transaction correct and you still go short or over. Sometimes you do correct and you get perfect. Rarely you get perfect.
I did it one time in my whole career.
I had it 2 times.
All right. The weekly win report. The proactive executive summary of your milestones. Every time we had a meeting, I would tell my boss, hey, this week I did something, whatever it was. Just every week I would tell her something that I was proud of, But it wouldn't be like, hey, listen to what I got to tell you. I'd say something like, can you believe that I did like 50 home visits this week? Oh, wow, that's a lot, whatever. So let them know what you're doing. And of course, gratitude to data flip, treating positive feedback as objective baseline metrics. When you're there and you're looking at all the things that you're doing, you need to have those metrics, that data, so that you know what you're doing. Because I've talked about intangibles. It's hard to put a number on intangibles. So when you're doing data, you need numbers. You need to be able to say, this is what I have done. One thing I can say, like, for example, every day I'd have to get between 50 to 60 kids from the classroom to the correct cars, correct buses, correct everything. And there was a very, very big process on that. It wasn't easy. When I left, I tried telling people how to do it, and they're like, I don't understand. It's on you. Figure out your own system,
Yeah.
Oh my God. There was so many mistakes.
Really?
Yeah. There were so many mistakes. And kids got put on the buses, but I'm just saying, like, they'd walk over and they'd take a kid to a car and they're like, okay, drop him off. Okay, go to the next car. Who are you here for? I'm here for Connor. Okay, hold on. You go in and where's Connor? Like, well, what happened was people already knew who the students were supposed to go to, right? So they would just pick up the kid and take him to the car. They see the car coming in, they take Connor. But the person who was running it didn't realize that. So she's looking for Connor. Stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And I would see the kid walking out, and I always told people, kids will follow people out the door, right? Grab their hand as you walk out the door. That tells me you're taking them. So I know they're leaving. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
Did I tell somebody that? No. That was the thing I did. It's something intangible, right? That kept the process going smoothly. There's just some things you can't teach people, that you got to learn how to do things. All right. So those are those intangibles. But you have a metric, and I can say 50 to 60 kids a day with pretty much no issues. And I will tell you, working with military families can be difficult. A lot of people in the military, and I don't mean majority, let me make that very clear. But it happens a lot. You have the spouses that come in and they think they're their husband's rank. Like, do you know my husband is colonel, whatever? I don't care. Your husband's the colonel. You're not. You know what I mean? Don't use his rank. And so anyway, military spouses sometimes, or military families, would cause a lot of problems for schools. And my job was to be their liaison. And one time I forgot to unlock the gate early because for early release.
Yeah.
I totally forgot to request it. Totally. I had talked to one of the guards and he says, yeah, I got it covered. Okay. Well, that day he got sent somewhere else and someone else was there and he didn't know to open it early. Excuse me. Hold on. So early release comes. The kids go out to the gate. The parents are on the other side of the gate. And no one can get out. Right? And kids are like climbing the fence and everything. My principal calls me, Murphy, what did you do? I'm like, I don't know. I said, I don't know what happened. And I couldn't prove that I sent it because I never did. Right? Because I made a mistake. I called, because the spouses or the families would give me their phone numbers. I called this one and I said, I screwed up and I'm trying to fix it. Just let everyone know I screwed up. The next morning, my boss was like, oh, I can't wait to see how many complaints I have in my voicemails. I can't wait to see how many parents are here to talk to me today. How many complaints and how many parents came in? None. Why?
Because you told them.
Because I told them I screwed up. It's me. I'm sorry. And when I went out there with the gate, I walked out there and I apologized to the ones who were still there. They knew, people make mistakes. But the fact that I owned up to it, I didn't place blame, I didn't point fingers. My boss was just like, I don't know how I didn't get any complaints. It's because it's me. That's one of those intangibles. That's one of those things that I do. Did I screw up? Yeah, I screwed up big time. Right?
Yeah.
But I fixed it too.
Yeah.
It took me a little time. And, it was not good. I didn't get written up for it because there was no one complained. She's like, you screwed up, but you fixed it. And, no one complained. What am I supposed to write you up for? Don't do it again. Your reputation is a very big deal. So when you screw something up, because we're going to screw up at work, right? We're talking about do your job good, let your boss know everything you're doing good, right?
Yeah.
And your boss usually tells you everything you're doing bad. So they know what you've screwed up on. Tell them the things you haven't screwed up on. Let them know that you're more than just that mistake. And be that employee that tells your boss everything. That's what this is about, is making sure your boss knows how important you are. Okay? Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what, that's my story. How about we hear a story from someone else? Let's talk about Elena.
If you've ever suffered in silent competence, listen up. In today's story from the fire, meet an engineer named Elena. She spent 2 years executing flawless code deployments, but deflecting every drop of executive praise, chalking it up to a great team or stable infrastructure. When a promotion window opened, she was completely passed over because senior leadership had zero visibility on her personal contribution. Her mentor forced her to implement a gratitude-to-data flip and start delivering direct win reports. Within 6 months, she didn't just win the next promotion, she owned her seat at the table with zero imposter doubt. That was a story from the fire. Murph man, are you feeling the heat?
All right, so Elena spent 2 years executing flawless code writing, okay? She deployed the code, 0 issues, and that's really hard to do if you don't know about coding, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to do.
Really hard.
And deflecting everyday praise. She's like, yeah, whatever. That's just what I do, whatever. When it came time for a raise, she didn't get it because no one really realized how good she was doing. So then her boss tells her, well, then give me some data, show me what you've done. And, if I can come into you and say 6 months ago, I mean, well, it's been 6 months and I have not screwed anything up or whatever the case may be, right? That's a big deal. As a manager, you're like, this one screws up, this one screws up, and this one screws up. But she hasn't. And you take those people for granted because you don't realize it. And that's again, it's not just the intangibles, but you have to let yourself be known. You have to be like, look at me, right? I'm a tree. No. Do you remember that story? I'm a tree.
No.
This is my friends were walking around and they turned the corner and it was like I was being funny and I got in this weird position. I said, I'm a tree. And it was night time. They looked at me and turned around and kept walking. They didn't see me, and my friend who was with me was like, did you really think you were a tree? And I said, yeah. Like, I don't know why, but yeah. So I'm a tree. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, but you want people to notice you. You want people to notice what you're doing. That is so important. That people see you and understand what you're doing. Okay. Go to the main camera. Okay, don't go back to my camera. It's turning blue again. I don't know why. Okay. Or is it just my computer? Hold on. Sorry, technical glitch. Check the other camera.
It has like a little bit of filter.
Okay.
But it's not blue.
Not blue.
No.
Okay. It's so blue it's black, or so black it's blue.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. I say I don't know.
It's just the lighting.
But the lighting's not changing.
It's just the way you're moving back and forth with your head.
My reflection.
Yeah. But no, it's just blocking the whiteness of the hot takes behind you.
Okay.
Because it's reflecting back and making it like blue.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's how like
that's one of the things we're still working on with this new studio. Right. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. So Elena started getting that data and she was able to get her raise and get her raises, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very important. Now, we've talked about the definitions. We've talked about stories. We've given you a whole bunch of examples. But I'll tell you what, we need to have what we call the call to action. This is your actionable steps you can take that you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can do to help you in a situation. So let's talk about that in our segment, the heat map.
The ultimate guide to corporate visibility in 4 steps. The heat map will outline the exact protocol needed to maximize professional recognition. Accept praise with leverage. Stop deflecting compliments with excuses. Practice saying a crisp, professional thank you, and let the metric stand as hard evidence of capability. Construct a live accomplishment log. Build a running document, a personal brag file, to immediately catalog positive data, client messages, and major technical adjustments. Deploy a proactive weekly win report. Prioritize sending a brief, bulleted executive summary of achievements to your manager every Friday afternoon. Claim verbal real estate in meetings. Assert your strategic presence by introducing data or voicing critical inquiries within the first 15 minutes of high-stakes corporate discussions. The map is drawn. Back to Murph Man for the next segment.
That came out of nowhere. All right. Accept praise with leverage. Say thank you. That's the hardest thing people do. You can't accept praise. Someone says you're doing a good job. You just say thank you. Don't give a reason. Don't say that. Just say thank you. All right. Construct a live accomplishment log, cataloging your wins. We talked about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Deploy a proactive weekly win report. Executive summary every Friday. In our weekly meeting, my boss, had her agenda. But we would talk about what we did as a team. How was your week? How was this week? How was, and it became part of the routine. So we started sharing. And you want to claim verbal real estate in meetings, introducing data early in the high stakes discussions. All right. What does that mean? Well, if you're discussing something and then you give them data, they're like, well, it would have been nice to have that data here, right? Like, for example, VAR in the World Cup. You've seen it, offsides.
Yeah.
Right? A toe is out of line, and they're like, we know this person was offside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if they didn't have that during the game.
Oh, God.
And they went ahead and, they did their job. Before VAR, that's how they did it. People would say, he was not. He was not. But now you have this VAR that says he was over by this much. And now they're like, that's not fair. Well, do you want exactness or not? So sometimes having that data after the fact isn't really the best. Now, if you've been following the World Cup, we have some teams still playing. It's the quarterfinals. Who's playing today?
Argentina. Oh, don't tell me. Mm-hmm. Switzerland. Oh, wow. They're in? Oh, kind of forgot about them.
Well, I can't remember who they beat.
Colombia
in penalty kicks.
Yeah.
It went down penalty kicks. But the fact that they held Colombia and tied them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Then we got Norway, England.
Norway, England tomorrow.
Today.
They're both today?
Yes.
3:30 and 7? 3 and 7.
Yes.
Okay. We were really into it when it all started. We haven't really been following it too much right now, right?
Well, we're following the score, but we're not like
watching the games.
Yeah, watching the games or following the team.
Yeah,
because we don't care about the teams.
Right.
And our team's already lost. Both of them.
Yeah. USA and for me, Mexico.
Yeah. Imagine being mixed and both your teams lose. God. 2 chances to win. They both lose the same.
That's sort of like
round.
being a Cleveland Browns fan. You're never going to get the Super Bowl. Just accept it.
Just go for another sport, dude.
Right.
Whatever they're good at.
Well, yeah. So again, going back to the praise, you need to give that data ahead of everything. Get that data in as soon as you can in a high stakes meeting, because getting that data, then you can discuss it. But if you're discussing something and it's based on erroneous data or false knowledge or misunderstandings, you wasted time. Get that data in there as soon as you can and move on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I think right now it's time to take a quick break. And when we return, we'll talk about those pitfalls to avoid. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
Bar stools, cigarette smoke, where the dive bar bands playing all the wrong notes. Them dollar bills still hanging on the wall. This ain't no place for her kind at all. She had them red bottoms on in this blue collar town. There's only 2 reasons why girls like her come around. She either took a wrong turn back in Austin, or she's looking for love cause she lost it. We were 2 flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the mood right under the neon moonlight. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to this old bench seat. Every song brings it closer to me. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the mood right under the neon moonlight. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. We were two flames burning, red wine and bourbon, leaning on each other for a little southern comfort, just trying to set the moon right under the neon moonlights. She was chasing that freedom, love a man, leave him, trying to make her mine by the end of the night. I'm a good line away from her number, trying to keep her from being single this summer. Single this summer.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
So we've been talking about all the different things that involve imposter syndrome and how to get around it and how to share things, right?
Yes.
As coming back from break, we're talking about those pitfalls that you might experience based on something. So let's talk about those pitfalls in our segment called "Where Are You Going to Get Burned?"
Stop deflecting your wins. It's actively hurting your promotion trajectory. Let's talk about the fatal performance traps where you'll get burned. The stigma of silent execution, operating under the delusion that your hard work will magically speak for itself without proactive visibility strategies. The transactional review reliance, waiting until your annual performance review to mention your impact, making your data historic rather than immediate. Deflecting via group consensus, diluting your personal impact by using "we" exclusively when executive leadership is explicitly trying to evaluate and reward your execution. Danger zone identified. Back to Murph Man for the warning.
All right. The stigma of silent execution. I've been talking about this. Hard work speaks for itself. Not always. Because if people don't know certain things are happening, you wouldn't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you speak about your accomplishments. Don't wait till the end of the year to talk about that, because like for example, in the jobs that I have to give a review and I have to say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and one of the things in the college is, what am I doing to advance myself professionally? And I'm like, well, I'm researching my topics every week that I talk about. And I'm learning a little bit more about psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning about psychology, and I'm sending that information out to college students. So is it really made just for the college? No, it's made worldwide. But, I'm trying to better myself professionally. Is that great? Maybe, maybe not. At my other job, it's like, okay, I'm amazing. I did this, I did that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even when my boss told me, I need you to do this, she said, I know you got this, just making you aware of it. she has total faith in me, right? And she should. But one of the things that a lot of people do is when you're on a team, you say, we do this and we do that. And I hate when someone says, I can do that. Like if I ask 3 people on the team, hey, which one of you can do coding? Well, I can do it. Okay. We can all do it together. There's some things we can do together, like break it down. And so one person always saying, I'll take it. You don't want to say we did something. There's a difference. You want to say we can do it as a team, but when you're saying you did something, it's not we did it. It's I did this part. Does it make sense? It's I did this part, but we as a team accomplished this. Like the bus thing I was talking about earlier. I was not alone. I had a whole team helping me. A whole team. Okay. And when I take a day off or something, the system ran fairly smooth. Not perfect, but pretty smooth because I had a system in place. Then things changed and certain people couldn't help us anymore, and we had to adapt and overcome. So yeah, I was in charge of it, but we did it as a team. I made sure it ran smoothly, right? But everyone did their part to do that. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
We? Okay. So be aware of that as we talk about all of this and the imposter syndrome. Now, what I think is also funny is when you wait until the end of the year to say, here's everything I did. With me, if I see my boss, like for example, everything I'm doing, starting a business and all this, has nothing to do with the work, right? Now I let my boss know, hey, look at this animation that I did, or look at this, because she thinks it's cute. But I said, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I sent her the press release for the animation for Military Broadcast Radio, and it talks about all these organizations, right? And she says, that's you. This is who they're talking about. I was like, yeah, that's me. Look, my name's there. She was just like, wow, like that's cool. Is it work related? No. It has nothing to do with work whatsoever, right? But I share with my boss because I want her to know, hey, look what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Even though it's not work related, I want her to know I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. Whenever, like I have a friend of mine, I worked at the college for 25 years, and there's some people that I worked with that are on my Facebook pages and stuff. And when he saw me, he's like, hey, I noticed you changed your hairstyle. What? That's what you're going to mention right now with everything going on in my life? Like your hairstyle? I know it's stupid, but yeah.
Just trying to pick some stuff out. That's it.
What? I'm starting a business. I'm starting the trivia. I'm promoting the animations. I'm doing all of this. Like, say something like that. You know what I mean? Oh, I noticed you changed your profile picture and, your hairstyle is different. And you know how I got this hairstyle, by the way?
Which one? This one?
Yeah, this one.
Oh.
I used to, when I was little, my mom would always comb it to the side.
Yeah,
it's called a natural part in my hair. Okay. And I started combing straight back, and I did that for years.
Yeah.
You don't realize I changed it?
No.
Whenever we go with Janetta and I tell her like what I'm doing, right? It's okay.
Sorry.
I know.
I see a flash, and I'm just like, oh god,
squirrel.
Literally squirrel.
I actually went into AI and I said, what kind of haircut do you think would look good on me? And they gave me a bunch of options. I said, I think that's the one I want to go with. And I went back to the one I had when I was a little kid.
Yeah,
my hair only can do so much. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Connor had really awesome hair and he looked really cool in his junior year picture, and then he went and I had it cut, and they cut way too much. I say I had it cut. He's a junior in high school. We're at the barber. He's getting a haircut with a friend of mine, and I'm talking to her. She got distracted. She cut away way too much of his hair, and I didn't even realize it. I still feel guilty about that.
I had curly hair all the way down to my shoulders, about, like to my chin. By that day, I had a buzz cut.
Yeah,
it was bad.
I
don't know how we go from this to this.
Well,
because I was gonna get rid of my side just so I could have the curls at the top. That was it.
Do you remember the other day we had a conversation about? Do you have any regrets and you wish you would say something before?
That I'm like, hey man, I think that's a little bit too much.
Well, no, what I mean is, my regret is I let that happen without realizing it. You did too because you didn't catch it.
I was sleeping.
No, you weren't.
I was.
You get distracted on the phone. But
no, it was
the regret that I was referring to is, what regrets do you have now if you haven't addressed it? I've addressed it. I've apologized to you, and I feel bad about it. I don't need to go and tell you, oh, remember the time that Jen Novia cut your hair?
Yeah, I remember.
No, you remember, but I'm not gonna. There's no reason to bring it up. I don't have a regret. I've already said sorry.
Unless we're talking about the topics like hair, or
right.
for the summer, cut your hair.
Yeah,
go bald.
Yeah, I think we should do that. I think we should both go bald.
No.
Sorry,
like kind of too late for that. We're already like halfway through
the summer.
Yeah, almost.
Oh, we can do it for New Year's. We can shave our head for New Year.
If you do it, I'll do it.
No, you wouldn't.
If you do it, I'll do it. I'll cut my
curly
hair off and I'll do a buzz cut again.
I'll tell you what. No, I meant bald. Like bald.
No. Maybe.
I'll tell you what. Let me get a picture of you and let me go into AI and say, how would he look bald?
Oh God.
And let's do that. Just out of curiosity.
I have a vein on my big forehead.
Oh, you have a cut on your head.
Oh, that also. Yeah. No, it probably won't be there.
Oh yeah. You had staples, dude.
Actually, never mind. Yeah. Stitches are there.
Yeah. I had stitches on my eyeball. You have to look closely. They did a good job on my eyeballs. Here's your hand. They just closed it up. They didn't care about a scar.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it was, just deep cut. You can see my bone.
You can see,
yeah, just something. Just
and your head. You were 18 months old when you cut your head open, big time. So you've had that most of your life.
I'm just injury prone. When I scrape myself,
well, that's because you're an idiot.
It wasn't even me. It's not my fault.
You were going too fast. Okay,
I wasn't even going full speed.
But again, my thing in life is I give advice, you don't take it.
Your advice, go on the right side, and I did.
Slow down.
I was slowing down. It was a turn.
Yeah. Did you stop and look both ways? No. You just, you were like, I turn here. Good luck, everybody.
Why would I stop?
That's my point. You're entering into an intersection, even though it was a T quad, intersection, whatever. But you're entering an intersection. You didn't stop and you kept going.
I don't need to stop at a T intersection. Yeah, you do. I'm not on the T.
That's why your cousin.
I'm literally here going into the T.
You're turning into a T.
I don't stop there. The T intersection is the line. Like the T's here. This person stops, right?
Yes.
And look both ways. I was already here going into it.
It doesn't.
You don't stop there. Every T intersection, you don't stop there.
You're talking about that the straight line going into the T should have stopped for you.
Yes, you look left and right.
I thought you were on the T and turning left.
No, I've told you this many times. I was going curve on the left, and he just kept going straight, and I had to dodge him.
Well, at least you dodged him, so that's a good thing.
No, I didn't dodge the cement block.
You biffed it pretty hard. You took it. Biff, that's an 80s term.
I whiffed so much, dude. I broke my bike when I fell.
You didn't break it?
Yes, I did. I broke the brakes.
Why haven't you said anything?
I've told you. My orange bike, remember? You hit the brake and it's not even clapping onto
That's not what I was talking about.
What are you talking about?
Scooter.
Oh, no.
Your elbow.
No, I'm talking about like other times.
Oh, we're talking
like
about
I've whipped it so many times, and then I mentioned another time.
Okay, but
yeah,
it's a different thing.
Well, same thing, but this is almost the same thing. The way you're doing it.
Yeah, I was here, you were here. And where did who go? Right?
Where's that from?
Top Gun. Not the Maverick, the original Top Gun. Now, one thing I like about the Maverick scene is when he says, "Y'all ready to start?" Yeah, and he goes up and flies between them and catches them off guard. You know, because your radar is like all around you, not below you. And he's, you know, anyway. It's just a weird day. All right. All right. So we talked about the pitfalls. Let's talk about those heat shields that will protect you from getting burned.
Protect your professional value before the corporate pressure mounts. Here is your operational tier of heat shields. The Hard Evidence Receipt Protocol. Deploy an encrypted cloud folder dedicated to screenshots of client praise, code approvals, and optimization metrics. The Manager as Partner Boundary. Establish bi-weekly focus alignment meetings to cross-reference your personal win reports with their immediate regional goals. The 5-point prep matrix. Never walk into an executive room without a documented blueprint tracking target outcomes, data points, and concrete value arguments. The shields are raised. Murph man, finish the play.
All right, so the hard evidence receipts. You want to put them somewhere that you can have them and you want to have them saved. All right. In my day, we would print them and you have a portfolio. One of the things I have to do right now is my financial projections for my business. Well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing yet. I can't say right now. I just maybe nothing. I got to say, oh, I'm going to be doing this every month and project it. Well, personally, after I make my projections, I want to know if I follow through with them, if I did better or worse, right? So every time I look at my budget for every end of month and I settle my accounts and everything, I want to know if I did what I was supposed to do. So it's one of those things where as we're talking and we're talking with your manager, you're writing down, you can do it for yourself too, right? And then when you're in a meeting and everyone says, hey, here's what I did today, you get the clapping, right? I also have a sound recording of me working on the BitLocker. You want to hear that one?
Sure.
All right. Anyway, so
I can imagine that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
I really hope they don't hear it. So we just sound crazy.
No.
We're like,
I
hear
hope
this.
they hear it.
Hear this. This is me.
This is what ADHD looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So again,
squirrel.
When you're talking to your boss, all right, you want them to know what you're doing. You want to have that data in front of you. You want to have as much information as possible. And you can say, this is what I'm doing, right? And last but not least is that 5-point prep matrix. It doesn't. The 5 points is what are you doing? Where are you going? What have you done? What do you project will happen? Or are there any problems? You want to have those outcomes there so your boss can look at that and say, okay, this is what you've done or you haven't done. Very important to have that. Okay. Then, so those pitfalls and everything, a lot of it can be helped by you just speaking up. That's pretty much the theme of today, right? Speak up. Don't let people assume they know what don't let people assume that they think they know everything about what you're doing, because they don't. They got to worry about other people. If you have a manager that's managing 10 people, or 15 people, you're not on their list. And get on their list. Say, here's everything I'm doing. Do this, do that, right? It's all about promoting yourself. And I know I like to talk about myself. Okay.
Yeah.
But at work, I'm not that kind of a bragger.
Well, because your work isn't like, you wouldn't mention yourself like that at work.
Well, yeah, but like, for example, when I took over the Spanish class, the Spanish team was like, thank you for coming on board. You're amazing. You just jumped in both feet. When I first started, remember, I was only there for 3 days. And I'm like, it's my job. This is just what I do. You know, when I cover a class, I still have to do all my other jobs. Part of my job. So it just adds on to my workload. And not one time, I was late to several meetings because I was doing other stuff. And I said, I'm sorry. You know, and they're like, I can't believe you're doing all that and this. We're having trouble doing the class. You're doing the class and all that. Well, thank you. You know, that's just my job. And that's what I told them. I said, the people who do my job are special because we have to be able to do everything. It's hard to do that in a job interview, right? When you ask someone like, tell me your biggest accomplishment. And I told you, like, mine was disarming someone with a gun. Has nothing to do with work, right? I got to focus and say, okay, talk about your work experience, you know. Going in there and saying, I can do all of this, that's not who I am in my professional life. My actions speak louder than words. People see it, and because obviously I tell people, here's what I'm doing. I'm sorry, I wasn't just late because I was late. I was doing X things. The meeting is a priority, but I needed to finish everything. Like, for example, the meeting is at 8:30 in the morning. My first job in the morning is to see who's absent, who's not, if we have coverage for them, if their pages are updated to say that they're out, who's covering for them, making sure the person who knows they're covering for them knows they're covering for them. It's not hard. But if I have 10 people out that day, and that I did several times, I have to go in and make sure 10 people are covered. And if they're not covered, then we got to do other things, you know. You have to be able to do that. Okay. When you say I'm late, don't make an excuse. Just say I got here as fast as I could. You know, everyone already knows it's not a priority thing for me. It is, I'm literally busy working, doing something else that has to be done. Now, one of my coworkers says, why don't you get here early and do that? So when this meeting comes, you're not late. I looked at them like they're on crack. I'm like, why would I come in early? My job starts at 8 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock I start. Is there times where I start like 5 minutes early? Because I wake up, because I work from home. I get ready, I'm done with whatever I'm doing, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start working, right?
Yeah.
And I'll start working. It's not a big deal to work early or work late, or, you know. But I'm not going to purposely come in early to do something. Now, there's been times where I told my coworkers, can you guys do this today? Because I need to do something else. And that's the we part we talk about, right? We do it. The day you had your heart attack, I messaged both of them. We have a group chat, and I said, I'm in the hospital emergency room with Connor. You guys need to do this. I didn't have to say, make sure you do that. Don't forget to do, you know, no. I just said, I'm in the emergency room with Connor. You guys need to do this coverage. And they did. They were like, got it. And they did. That is the team I work with. You know, everyone does their part, and we work as a team. And everyone does their own individual thing. You know? And that's why I love what I'm doing. You know?
Yeah.
All right. So we've been talking about this. We've been discussing all the things that can happen, things you can do to improve your situation. So let's talk about those questions and review what we've talked about. in the afterburn.
You are 100% right to be confused about visibility versus bragging. In today's Afterburn, process these diagnostic evaluation queries thoroughly. Am I actively running a gratitude to data flip, or am I treating positive executive reviews as random, lucky sentiment? Does my direct supervisor possess real-time, weekly visibility on my wins, or am I forcing them to guess my performance value? Have I claimed baseline verbal real estate in structural meetings this week, or did I remain a silent spectator in the room? Reflection complete. Murphman, time for your final thoughts.
All right, so am I actually running a gratitude to data flip? Are you documenting your wins? You know, like I tell people, I always have wins every day. I'm not going to document everything. But there are some things that I have done that have exceeded the norm. And those are the ones I'm going to focus on. Okay. It's like Superman, you know, what have you done today? Oh, I saved the person from this. Okay. There was one time I went back in time and reversed time and saved some, okay. That's one of those exceptional things, right? When you're doing good all the time, exceptional. When you're doing good all the time and no one knows what you're doing, those you want to document as well, because you want to be able to say, hey, this is what we're doing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Does my direct supervisor possess real-time information? That's so important because they need to know what you're doing. If they have a report that says, this is everything I did, yeah, you know what's not on that report? When I had a kid, I had to take to the emergency room, or when I had this situation, my personal situation where I had to be in the hospital with you for 3 days, my productivity went down for the month if I had a job like that. So, yeah, something bad happened. But look at my number for this week and look at my number for next week. Did I make up? Yes. That's the data we're talking about. And the strategic help in meetings, okay? You want to give the data. You want to be able to say things in meetings so people know you're there. But sometimes there's no input from the employees, right? The meeting is just happening, and here's what we're talking about. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Move out. You don't always have that opportunity. That's why it's important to have that relationship with your manager where you can bring up stuff. Hey, I did this today. Oh, cool. Thank you. Whatever. They may not care. But if you do that often enough, it stays there. I promise you. Right? Mm-hmm. 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 When you become a manager on whatever job you do, okay, what is one thing you're going to see besides the data that you would look at? I'm just curious. You as a person.
Inventory.
Those are numbers. That's data. Okay, but let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, okay? I'm going to give you a perfect example of how a manager can influence a company's bottom line. Okay, everyone listening right now has that box, that drawer, that cabinet. I mean, what is it called? The little storage containers where they store all of their extra packets from Taco Bell, Panda Express, ketchup, mustard, whatever, right? As a manager, one thing you can do to make an immediate impact, if you get hired as a manager at somewhere, and part of the job is they give something away, such as napkins, such as ketchup, right? Taco Bell hot sauce. I'll take 3 hot sauces. They give you 20. Like, that's just waste. That's just waste. Because next time I'm going to order 3 sauces again, and they're going to give me 20 more. I don't need those extra sauces. I don't use them anywhere. Now, if it's something like ketchup, yeah, I might keep that because I use it, at the table or whatever, But as a manager, if you were to say, okay, only give out 3 napkins per car, right? Or the way I would do it as a manager is if there's 4 combos, give enough napkins for 4 combos. If they ask for ketchup, right? You don't just throw ketchup in salsa and whatever into, say, how many do you want? You know, like when I go, I don't use ketchup in drive-thrus, and I don't use the salsas most of the time, right? So when they get to the window, like, would you like any salsas? No, I'm good. That's the manager putting that there. Okay, so if you take over a job that has an inventory like napkins, it sounds so stupid, but if you hand out napkins, over time, napkin cost is going to go down, ketchup cost is going to go down, and you can say, I implemented this strategy, and this is the impact. I'm saving you money. That's a simple thing you can do. The consumables. When you buy pens for work, right? Those pens just disappear. People take them home. They don't, whatever. We steal stuff from work without even wanting to. It just becomes part of, I put a pen in my pocket and I walk with it. Do I bring it back the next day?
No.
Not always, right? I just throw it down, and that's why I have so many pens, right? That's just human nature.
I remember one time I got out of work and I want to go eat something, and I'm like changing into my PJs, and I take my pants off and I feel something in the back of my pocket. I pull it out and I still have my rag from when I was cleaning because we were wiping everything down and all that. I just put it in my back pocket because that's how I always do it. And I'm just like, oh.
Did you take it back?
Okay. No.
See, that's not really consumable.
We have well, no, dude. We ran out of rags.
Because people were doing that. They wear out. But yeah, if you take it home and you don't bring it back.
There's just some stuff where no matter what, it's gonna be in every inventory, like every stock.
Yeah. So as a manager, look at those consumables that are given to clients. And like a pen, as simple as adding a chain to the clipboard keeps the pen. In the long run, that might be something you could save money on. Paper towels, okay, napkins in the bathroom. I was at, I think it was, where was I? Dave & Buster's, I think. And they have the automatic paper towels, right? Sometimes I'll get two, like, get one, get a second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went and it sent out like this much paper. And I went and told one of the workers there, I said, hey, you might want to reset your paper towels, giving out too much paper towels. If you don't realize, little things like that add up over time. And if it gives me 5 pieces of paper as opposed to 2, that's almost 150% more usage per person. That's already double the cost. So when you're looking at stuff like this, that data, if you can get data that you don't realize, but one of them is the consumables, you can change that as a manager. You will get a lot of feedback from that. You will have that data and you'll have those wins. Okay. Keep that in mind as we talk about the digital inferno and the apps that you can use. Okay. That will help you, because an app is something that can be used over and over and over again, right? It doesn't get wasted. So let's talk about that digital inferno.
There are 3 things you can execute right now to automate professional tracking. Stop guessing your value. Let software validate the metrics. Centralize the brag file in Notion. Establish a dedicated repository utilizing relational databases to instantly dump performance metrics, cross-referenced by company goals. Implement Grammarly's tone detector. Before dispatching a weekly win report, process your update through automated tone analytics to guarantee your language signals assertive executive presence. Automate Friday win reminders via Todoist. Program reoccurring high-priority tasks linked to your calendar to force a weekly data audit before you leave your workstation. The Inferno is digital. Back to Murph Man to close the segment.
Okay. I'm old school in a lot of ways. Have you ever seen me take notes?
Yeah.
What did I take notes on?
I guess a notepad. It's not a notepad, but it's like,
yeah, the notepads are the long pages, right? I use the thin pads or the small pads, but I also use index cards, right?
Yeah.
Because what I like about an index card system is I have a to-do list. So I write everything on the cards, and then I can sort them as I need to do them. If I need to change one task and push it back or move it forward, it's easy to do, right? Is there an app that will do that? Yes. Notion.
Yeah.
It's there. There's a new app that I just got. It's called ClickUp. And it's supposed to bring all your things together, your emails and everything. I'm going to try it. There's a new software called Tabit that if you have a lot of tabs open and you're researching stuff, Tabit is one that goes to all of your open windows and pulls the information for you and summarizes it. So, yeah.
I'm gonna need an index card.
Yeah. Make sure you return my pen. But yeah, there's apps out there you can use to organize yourself. And again, you guys know I use Gemini. Starting a business, I have all these to-do tasks, right? I was at this event last night. I wasn't working, so I could have left anytime I wanted to. But I had my notepad with me because I was taking notes on what I'm going to do as a host. But after the host stuff ended, there was just dancing. So I had free time. I pull out my list and I write, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to add this. I'm on my phone saying, okay, what else do I need to? With Gemini, I said, I have so many different tasks that I've talked about today. I've lost track. Can you summarize them for me? There it is. Can you put those in Keep? Creates a file in Keep. I go to Google Keep. It has my to-do list. I'm not having to write anything down, right? Yesterday at the dance, could I talk to it? No, I could have written on it, but I like to talk to Gemini. Literally, I don't have to write anything down. I can be playing a video game, talking to Gemini, and it's taking notes for me, right?
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
Oops. I think that was you.
I know it was me. Sorry.
I just had to make sure. I looked, I'm like,
you're not touching anything. Yeah.
I looked at both of my hands. I'm like, I don't have the mouse.
So I can be playing the game and talking to Gemini, and it's taking notes for me. So I can actually do two things at once. Right. Because people who have ADHD, they work on different levels. And like, for example, I cannot listen to very calm music like Vivaldi, Beethoven, all that stuff when I'm trying to be working and focused because it's just too slow for me. And that just frustrates me. So I'd rather listen to heavy metal and keep that energy going. Right.
Yeah.
But learn how to use apps to do your to-do list. Excuse me. Like Todoist. It's a to-do list. Google Keep, Notion, ClickUp. If you use Excel sheets, whatever you use, Word, making your list, index cards, notepad, whatever. Keep that data for work. Because a notepad, you can write something here, flip the page, and then the next 3 pages have nothing to do with it. Then, so it's hard to do that. So you want to have something dedicated. Excuse me. You want to have something dedicated to tracking your wins, so it doesn't get confused with everything else. Okay. When you go into a meeting and if you've been typing it, you can literally print it out and be like, here's all of my tasks that I've done this week, this month, this year. Right. Grammarly tone. This is one of those things that I've used AI for. When someone has done something that has upset me, I can write a very ugly message. And there's one time my principal had told me something and she had changed the rules or whatever, because they can do that. And she didn't tell me, and it really pissed me off. And I wrote her this nasty email, sort of, right? This is when I first started. I didn't really understand how the whole system worked. And she came downstairs to talk to me. And she walks in, and she says, first thing, take a deep breath. She could tell by my email I was pissed, right? She says, first thing, just take a deep breath. And then we can talk. And then she says, I don't have to explain myself to you. I can make the changes as I make changes. She says, where I failed was 2 places. I did not get your input, and I did not notify you about the changes till it was too late. And I just said, wow, thank you. Again, validation, right? I've had some really good bosses.
Maybe you have some really bad ones.
Well, yeah. But this is an example, okay? This person did not have to explain herself to me. And she made that clear. It was a power thing. Like, I'm going to tell you because I want to, not because you're asking. But she says, I did not get your input, and I did not let you know. That let me know she was valuable, that I was valuable to her, because she wanted my input on it. And would she have done something different based on my input? Maybe, maybe not. But she knew that was a step that she skipped. Because, again, when you're a manager and you're used to doing things your own way, and then an employee comes in that changes how you do things, you have to adjust to it. And even though I was the lowest on the totem pole there, okay, I was the lowest of the lowest on the ranking system. Okay, I was only part-time. I think I was only a part-time employee in the whole school.
Oh. How can you be part-time in a school?
Yeah, there's part-time jobs.
What?
Yeah, you only like 8 to 1 or whatever.
Oh.
And so I was the lowest on the low of this totem pole. She had to explain herself to me. I didn't understand how it all worked. I was still new. But in that few months, and by the way, I started in August, end of October, she offered me full-time position because she saw how valuable I was to this team.
Yeah.
But she had told me that, you know, she saw the value in my input. Okay. She saw the value in my input. She saw the value in what I had to offer the team. And she wasn't used to asking for help, especially from someone way down here. If I'm not in your meetings up here,
then why bother?
I have no input.
Yeah.
Right. When she did something that affected the whole school, you know, and let me tell you, this is something little sidetrack, but it's related. I started the job and she says, I want you to work on the website. We're creating new websites in the district. I'm like, bet. And I sat there and I started, and I did my website for the school. I had teacher pages. It was an amazing job. And then I had a problem doing something. And I called the help desk. And I talked to Gabby. I'm like, hey, Gabby, this is Sean. Sorry to bother you. I'm using this and I'm trying to do this. And she goes, why are you trying to do that? That's not your level. And I said, because I've been tasked to create the website. She says, no, that's not what I'm talking about. She says, what you're trying to change is a district level option. Like, you shouldn't even have access to this. So as I'm talking to her, she goes, hold on. Are you the one that's doing this? I said, yeah. She says, you've changed every website in the school district. I didn't give the school's information to all the schools, but I created categories and menus. And she says, who the hell's changing all these menus? It's just because you want to keep a website simple. And all of a sudden, we're having all these extra categories added. We don't know who's adding them. And I said, well, that's me. And she says, well, it looks great, but we need to take it off every other school. I said, okay, sorry. And she says, anyway, to help you with what you want to do, I can do this for you. And I said, okay, great. So she did, right? But I was literally changing the entire district's websites. I didn't know, because apparently I was using the principal's information.
Apparently.
You know, I told you, when I screw up, it's with style. like Buzz Lightyear, I'm falling with style.
Yeah.
When I screw up with style. And anyway, last but not least, okay, is you want to have those reminders on Todoist. Okay, the task list, the to-do list. You want to make sure you keep one and know what you're doing. Like, for example, this afternoon we have to do some stuff, and we can go to the lower valley and go around, and we can go northeast, go around, and we plan and said, this is the way I want to do it, so we can do this in the middle and whatever. You know, we're planning, right? We have a list of where we're going to go.
Yeah,
it's not on it's on the app, right? But what do? You create the navigation.
I just drive.
And you just drive. But you go and you put in all 4 stops. So it does it automatically for you, right? That's using apps. That's exactly how you use app in real day life. You don't even think about the fact that you're using apps.
No, I do.
No, I'm saying, but we use them without even thinking about them. We need to think about them and use more apps. And I'll give you an example. In the business meeting I had at Small Business Development Center, the guy says, let me tell you about market research, because we can research your market for you. And I said, market research? Like, there's companies that do that, right? And they charge for it. You offer for free? He goes, yeah. I said, I didn't know that. I said, I've been researching the market. I've never thought of market research. Does that make sense? I was doing my own research. I was using Gemini. I was using search. I was looking up stuff. Like, is there another podcast like mine? Is there another business like mine? Is there another thing like mine? What else can I do? There's all these options to do trivia. Which one's the best for what I want to do? And then I tried a few different, you know what I mean? But you want to be able to do that. Okay. Use apps that you're not aware of. Go and try new apps. Go and try digitizing your world. And that's why it's called the digital inferno. Right. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about our final burn for the day.
Staring out this hotel window, many floors above. What's missing down there is love. Thinking through the smoke that fills my mind. Don't worry, it's not my first time. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. They say it's all inside, heaven and hell. What happened to that angel when he fell? Give it just one try. Tell me you don't like it. Be God for a moment and don't despise it. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Step outside and breathe. Play a little in the street. Hope it's not me they're sending. Move one from over there. Get the kids a little scared. Oh, these fences, they need mending. Adios, amigo. So glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Adios, amigo. So glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town.
All right. How we doing? Time for the final burn. All right. The final burn is my last take for the night. So here it is.
The secret nobody tells you about internalizing your true value. The ultimate take from today's corporate brief is professional confidence isn't about personal ego. It is about operational alignment. Own your metrics, broadcast your impact, and drive your career like you built the engine. Because you did. The final flame has been struck. Back to Murphman to wrap the show.
All right. So professional confidence isn't about personal ego. It's about operational alignment. That is what we want to think about, you guys. That is what we do. All right. Is align it professionally with what you're doing and get that data, get it going, and you will see. All right. That's it for today. Connor, thank you for a wonderful show. Appreciate it. All right. Yes. If MJ Gonzalez is out there still listening, he wrote a comment. Good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the show, you guys. That's it for today. We'll see you next week.
That's a wrap on this episode. If you're looking for more, you can find all the best clips from the show on our social media pages. For all the links and more information about what we talked about today, visit purehottakes.com. And if you want to watch the full replay or get access to our premium content, subscribe now at stream915.com. We appreciate you tuning in.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. giving our veterans a voice.